Last time,
Ian leads the three musketeers back into this small town against the gnolls to find the leader that stole the magical gem that powers the Atlantean jet. Mimi has trouble remembering that she is not a bunny, and Galaxy utilized her unicorn butt backpack again to get the group to the jet that brought the group back home and safe and sound.
Why does everyone love hit points? Because they're the life of the party.
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters.
welcome everyone to another groundbreaking episode of Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters. I'm Daddy Kurt, the Dungeon Master. To my left we have
Sam, who plays Mimi, the best elf, and to my left we have my sidekick. Not a sidekick, Galaxy, which owns an amazing pet named Boom, and Abby, also, who has a real dog named Isley.
Yes, we got a new dog. We finally got a dog. The girls are very, very excited. We got a puppy. So, Birdie, to your left we have...
To my left is my sidekick. No one's sidekick. Surfer Boy. Not? Yes, Surfer Boy.
Hi, Trent. Thanks for joining us again.
Hello again. Always a pleasure.
So, it's been a while since we played. It's always been a while. We never play often enough. A couple of housekeeping items. It's our 2-year anniversary. Girls, we've been doing this for 2 years now. Can you believe it's been that long?
No!
When we started doing this, you needed boosters
Amazing.
in the chairs.
Yes, I remember that.
Because you weren't tall enough.
And I remember during the summer, Mom would make us run back and forth to grab the boosters because we'd have to go somewhere.
Yeah, because we'd bring them down here and then we'd forget because we had to drive somewhere. We had to bring them up and put them back in the car. So, other announcements. Because of the 2-year anniversary, we were also running our contest, which we did have a winner. We had a winner that entered on Facebook, and we sent them out a copy of the Player's Handbook. And it was pretty perfect. I couldn't have picked a better person to win the contest because it was a dad that won and chose the Player's Handbook so he could give it to his daughter because he was tired of her stealing his Player's Handbook all the time.
Oh, yes, perfect.
And all right.
That is one difference.
Also, we got a new 5-star review, which I think might possibly be my favorite 5-star review that we've ever received. This is from Alpine Team, titled "One of My Favorite Actual Plays." It sounds like Dad and the girls and their rotating handling friend Surfer Boy take their fun seriously. It's real D&D, unpretentious, silly, and seriously creative. My kids love it and prefer it over most of the other actual play podcasts out there. Great stuff, and I hope they keep going for a good while. Thank you very much, Alpine Team.
Thank you.
Serious D&D.
Yes.
That's right.
We get down to the business.
Okay, so speaking of business, getting down to business, let's play D&D. All right, for this adventure, we are going to jump right into things.
We say this all the time, but we always have like some little thing that we have to talk about, like in the beginning, especially.
Okay, so
like especially what the Black Dragon's name was.
Well, the one adventure where you literally had to jump off of a griffin into the castle, we were literally jumping into that adventure.
Are we doing that again?
But no, we're not doing that again. But that did take half an hour of exposition and talking about, why are we on this griffin? What did I do before we got here? It's like, I don't know if I want to jump off this griffin. And then all of a sudden, I'm jumping off this griffin. Should we just let Dave fall to his death? You know, par for the course.
Should you go into my unicorn butt backpack? And it's just like, also, we spend a lot of time saying, like, Zelane was the Black Dragon, which is true.
Zelane is not the Black Dragon. Zelane was the fire giant.
No. Christopherson was the Black Dragon.
No, Christopherson is the big bad ancient vampire, or as far as you know, is the big bad ancient vampire.
Are we killing Christopherson?
No. Okay, so here's the adventure. Are you ready?
So, just to make this clear, Zelane's the black dragon.
Zelane is not the black dragon. You're messing with the chronology.
His name was Bruce.
Didn't Galaxy kill Zelane the Black Dragon with Mage Hand? Isn't that how it worked?
Yes. That's the campaign. Thanks for playing, guys.
Yes.
Hope you all enjoy it. Our show is over. We've got nothing else to do.
Besides killing Christopherson.
No, you are. That was Zelane.
Who was Christopherson?
He was the big bad, and Galaxy killed him with Mage Hand.
Yay!
All right, so the three of you are down in the depths of this dirty, creepy, dusty old castle.
Why?
Have you been listening to our episodes?
I don't know how you got there. The musketeers had tracked this vampire. This vampire, her name is Augustine Dravedon.
Can I be friends with her?
You've never met her before, but when you meet her, maybe you can be friends.
We could charm her.
I don't have charm person.
So the musketeers and a number of other troops that were given by the Fireforge Dwarven Nation, they had attacked this castle, and they had actually killed Dravedon. And she had turned into mist, but her mist got back into her castle and went down into her lair. So that's one of the things that is interesting about vampires, is that they're not the most powerful creature to kill, but they're really, really hard to kill permanently, because they can turn into mist and then they go back into the lair and they regenerate and all this stuff. So
How do you kill him permanently?
well, we'll get into that, because I'll make you roll religion or arcana checks to see if you know that, because that's how you play Dungeons and Dragons.
Why?
Because it's fun.
Why?
Why what?
Why is it fun?
Well, you have to answer that question, actually. So the musketeers had killed this vampire, but the vampire got away. And so the three musketeers went charging into Dravedon's castle and managed to track her down. And you are now standing outside of the entrance to her crypt.
Why?
To where her coffin is, to where her resting place is.
Why?
And your job is to go in and finally destroy Dravedon once and for all.
Say because.
Because
why?
so you are standing in this very dark, very large open area that is filled with dozens upon dozens of columns. And these are large columns, and as you were walking through, you'd notice that each column also served as a crypt for someone else. And as you would walk by, it would have names listed on and various functions and roles that they had. So it looked like at one point in time, people that were important to the family that built this castle in the first place were interred into these crypts, into these columns. And even so much as people that were part of the original designing and building of the castle were laid to rest in these crypts as well. But you got past all of those. Now you're facing the open stone doorway that leads down more dark and dusty and dirty steps that leads down further into the bottom level of the castle where Dravedon's coffin is laying. And you hope is in wait for you to go in and put a wooden stake through her heart.
Wasn't it a different name?
Augustine Dravedon is her name.
Wait. Is a vampire an animal? Because I saw one at the zoo.
They are not an animal. You cannot animal shape into a vampire.
But then we could be best friends.
If you let Dravedon bite you, you could potentially be turned into a vampire. But you would no longer be able to play Mimi. She would become an NPC at that point. Are you actually contemplating turning into a vampire? She shrugs. Maybe. What? You want to be a vampire too? Oh gosh.
No.
No, they're foul creatures. They're evil, foul creatures. And plus, if she turns you into a vampire, you would actually become her slave for a period of time.
No. Boom should.
Boom Boom can become a vampire.
Yes.
He's a doggy flesh golem.
Yes, he can be a doggy vampire.
It is a dark, old, dusty castle. Lots of cobwebs everywhere, and you are standing at the top of these stairs that lead down. And there is a slight. You can hear wind from outside, but you don't feel anything. And the ground is covered in a thick gray mist that slowly swirls around your ankles.
A tornado.
So, what do you do?
Well, ladies, I for one don't like the mist. Let's say we go back.
No. Boom would like to investigate. I will investigate. No, Boom would like to investigate.
Boom would like to investigate. Okay, so you have Boom out at your side right now.
Who's Boom?
Oh, Boom is her undead flesh golem that she had stitched together from dead dog parts.
Corgi. Have you been
Sounds
following?
wholesome.
Yeah,
Have you been following up on our episode?
he's a little behind.
I'm behind.
So, in that same episode, Sam also got a pet chicken named Mr. Bok Bok.
And I got Abby.
Yeah, and you got a pet dog named Abby, who is useless, but very well trained. Very well trained.
She's an attack dog.
She is not an attack dog.
I'm training her.
If you use her as an attack dog, she probably will die.
Many tiny dogs can be vicious.
Yeah. Although I kind of have it as a rule, as like pets and like ponies in this game probably shouldn't die because that's kind of traumatic.
Wait, where's Bacon?
No, they're outside the castle right now. Your ponies are outside the castle. Yes. You did not ride them into the depths of this creepy old castle.
Why?
All right, so you have Boom out, and you're going to tell Boom to do what?
Investigate.
Investigate.
Yes.
All right, so Boom looks over at you. He's wagging his tail, and you say, investigate. And he's... And he goes running off, and he starts going to... And he gets to the top of the stairs, and poof! He disappears, and he gets replaced by an undead creature with armor and a sword. And he turns, and a big long tongue sticks out of his mouth, and he's got sharp teeth. It's not a vampire, but some other undead, ghoulish creature.
It's Boom as a vampire.
And we are going to roll initiative.
17.
17, okay.
5.
5 for Mimi.
I got +7. Ooh.
You don't have a +7.
Natural 20.
You don't have a
20.
+7 on your initiative.
Well, she got nat 20.
Oh, I thought you meant investigation.
No. All right, Galaxy, you get to go first.
So is it a vampire?
It roll a Arcana check or religion, whichever one is better for you. I think Arcana because you're a wizard.
Arcana +7.
That's +7. Okay.
19.
19. Okay. You know that this is not a vampire. You know that this is a wight. This is a undead creature that often serves as a minion of vampires. They're not the most difficult things to kill and destroy, but they can cause a problem. And that if they touch you, they can drain the life force out of you.
Is that what they did with Boom?
Boom had just disappeared. You could tell, because you got a 19 on your Arcana check, you could tell that there's some magical trap that's placed here that looks like it transported Boom somewhere else and then transported this wight in its place.
Okay. I'm going to go into greater invisibility.
Okay.
And I'm going to go sneak behind the creature. And I'm going to say, boo! And I'm going to give it tummy rubs.
Okay.
It's not Boom. It's not Boom. I know.
All right, so greater invisibility, that requires an action to cast. So you cast that yourself, so you disappear, and then you sneak behind the wight. Okay, can you roll
With
a...
Mate's hand, I scratch him and I say boo and I scratch him with his tummy.
Okay.
To distract.
Okay, so before we do this, can you roll an intelligence check for me, please?
I get a 19 again.
You get a 19, okay.
Oh, wow.
So before you cast invisibility, if your plan was to go sneak behind this wight, you would have to pass through the area that Boom just passed through.
Uh-huh.
So there's a chance that you could be transported from this area as well.
Fine, I'll go in front of him.
So you're still going to turn invisible and go in front of him.
And then Mage Hand, I'm going to cast Mage Hand and tickle him.
Oh,
How far away is he right now?
he is about 20 feet away from you. So casting Greater Invisibility would take up your whole action, because it takes one action to do that. So you could cast Greater Invisibility and then move closer to him if you want to, but you can't do Greater Invisibility
No.
and Mage Hand the
I
same.
want to become Greater Invisibility and go by the trap because I want to see little Boom and Boom.
All right, so you turn invisible and you move forward to the area, but you stop before you cross into that area at the top of the stairs. And the only thing that you see is the white standing there. You don't see Boom.
No, I don't see Bum.
Mm-mm.
That is a bum.
Okay, Dave, your turn.
Wow. All right. Okay. How about guiding bolt? What is that?
Oh, Guiding Bolt, that's a good one.
Yeah, there we go.
Especially if you cast it at a higher level, it throws more d6s on top of it, but it starts out with 4d6 radiant damage.
Okay. Yeah, let's do guiding bolt.
Okay. So for this one, you need to make a ranged spell attack.
11.
11. That is not going to be good enough. So you shoot out the ray at the white, and you miss him, and he snarls.
Mishakal preserve us.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to conjure an animal,
You're gonna conjure an animal. Okay.
and it's going to be a polar bear.
It's gonna be okay.
That polar bear is going to attack him while I sit back and relax. We're so lazy.
All right, so you can conjure an animal of a rating 2 or lower, which here, let me just double check and make sure the polar
Birdie,
bear
at
falls
least
into
I'm
that. I
doing
believe it does.
something that's-
Polar bear does have a challenge rating of 2, so yes, you can conjure a polar bear. All right, so you are going to that's going to be your entire action to cast that spell and conjure a polar bear, and a polar bear magically appears next to Mimi.
And then I yell, attack!
Can you roll initiative for the polar bear for me? He has a +0.
Natural 20!
Natural 20. Okay, so that means
Party!
the polar bear is going to have to get worked in to the next round. All right. So that was Mimi. So she's got a polar bear next to her now. And now it is the white's turn. And it doesn't see Galaxy because she is invisible. So he comes charging out with his sword in hand. And he is going to attack. He's going to attack Dave.
Mishakal preserve us.
Because you shot that magic bolt at him. And he's going to strike out at you with his sword. And that is a 15 against armor class. I'm guessing that misses?
At 17.
17, okay. So then he is going to try and reach out and grasp you with his other hand. And that is going to be 22 to hit. So he swipes out with his longsword, and he doesn't compensate for your height well enough, and the sword swings right over your head. But then he reaches forward and he grabs you right on your neck and touches you. You can feel the coldness of his grasp and the energy getting sucked out of you as he digs his nails into your neck. Stop! And you take 8 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
3.
3? All right. So your maximum hit points have now been reduced by 8. So even if you healed yourself, you can't heal this damage back until after you take a long rest.
Okay.
Is it Boom's turn?
What did you roll an
gone.
initiative for Boom?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
He got it 2.
Boom got a 2?
Yeah.
All right, let me write that in then.
Boom disappeared, I thought.
He did disappear, so I don't see how you would have rolled an initiative for him. So that means he's not going to go until the next round then, which is fine.
Okay.
All right, so now Now we're back up to the top of the order. Galaxy, it's your turn now.
Me! Okay, so
You're invisible. And the white came charging past you and it just attacked Dave.
I want to be a fireball. Do fireball.
Fireball? Okay. So for the fireball, he has to roll a dexterity saving throw. What's your spell save DC?
Spell save 17.
17? Okay, he does not save, so he is going to take the full damage of this fireball. And you are shooting this fireball directly into the group. But you have the ability to sculpt your spells because you're an evocation wizard. So this is a special ability that you have. Normally, anybody else casting this fireball, so Mimi, this is something that's important for you to remember. With your helmet, if you take one of the jewels and cast fireball, and you shoot the fireball at the group, everyone in the group is going to take damage from it. The only reason Galaxy can do this is because she's a special wizard.
Okay. But no, but like I have like the wall where I can do a fireball.
Yep, you can do firewall, yes. Yeah, so that's a little bit more control. I'm just saying if you tried to do a fireball, that's a hazard with this. So Galaxy could sculpt it around both Dave and Mimi and the polar bear so that no one takes the damage except for the white. So, Birdie, were you casting fireball at level 3 or were you going to be casting it at a higher level?
What level am I at?
Well, look at your spell sheet. That tells you how many slots of each level that you have, and you already cast a level 4 spell.
I have 2.
So you probably don't want to use up your other level 4 spell on this right now. So you probably just want to cast it at level 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're going to cast Fireball at level 3, which is the minimum level, you need to roll 8d6.
8d6. So 8 sixes?
8 six-siders, yep. I see a lot of 6s over there.
Plus
18.
another 8 is 26, 27, 28, 31.
30. Whoa, that is a big fireball. 31 points of fire damage. All right, so your fireball shoots out, explodes in the area around the group, but the fire just sculpts around everyone and is just inches away from their skin, but they take no damage, feel no heat from it because you sculpted around their bodies. And the white
sculpture
gets
of a heart.
it's in the shape little.
No. Sorry, a corgi butt.
You are all protected in this pocket of air in the shape of a corgi butt as this explosion of flame and heat radiates around you.
I'd rather take damage.
And the white takes the full blunt of this fireball, but it doesn't kill him outright, but he is half his face has been blown off and charred and burning, and there's smoke and the stink of burning flesh now fills the air. But he's still on his feet, but he is not looking super duper hot right now.
Now
So-
it's my polar bear.
Now it's the polar bear's turn.
My polar bear's name is Little Joe.
Little Joe. All right, so it is Little Joe's turn.
Little Joe.
All right, what is Little Joe going to do?
Little Joe, I want you to bite and claw this white.
And he charges forward. You want him to do the claw attack first?
I have it written down somewhere.
All right, do the claw attack.
So D20 plus 7 to hit. 4.
All right, so that's an 11. Okay, so he strikes out with his claw, and the white jumps out of the way. So he still has his bite attack. So roll another d20, and that's a plus 7 to hit as well.
15.
15. All right, 15 does hit. So for the bite attack, roll 1d8 plus 5. And that's piercing damage that he does.
11.
11. So Little Joe the polar bear swipes out with his claw, misses the white, but then lunges forward with his big jaws and grabs hold of the white right at the shoulder, almost to the point of where it connects to the neck.
Him.
He takes a big chunk out of it, and his
Swallows
left arm is just barely hanging on, and he's barely on his feet at this point. David, it's your turn.
He swallows him.
I cast Sacred Flame.
Okay,
19.
that'll hit.
Yep. And then the damage is 8.
8 points of damage. Okay. So Sacred Flame, you hold out your hand and conjure flame around this undead creature, and it explodes into flame, and it was still smoking and burning a little bit from the fireball as well, but the flame that you put in was just enough to take it over the edge, and it falls to the ground, smoldering and smoking and smelling really, really bad. But the white is no more.
No!
Mr. Cole be praised.
Is Boom okay? Is Boom?
Roll a perception check for me.
Perception.
Can I help?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you have advantage. Perception of 2 people.
Oh, good thing.
6?
Do it again.
Or 17. I'll choose the 6 and I'm 17.
All right, 17. All right. You hear, coming from behind you, a low thud. Just boom, boom,
Get it, Boom.
boom.
Boom. I know that's you, Boom. Because boom, boom, boom.
So what do?
I follow the boom.
From behind us?
From behind you, yes.
I look and turn. Boom.
You don't see anything, but you still hear the low thud, the booming, coming from behind you.
Boom. Are you there, Boom?
All right, so Galaxy goes walking back in the dark, back through the crypts. And as you walk in that direction, Galaxy, the booming gets louder.
Boom.
And eventually, you get to a pillar, one of the crypts, and you can see the stone slab that serves as a doorway as the portal into this column. Every time the boom happens, you can see it shake a little bit, and a little bit of dust gets knocked down from the pillar and falls to the ground.
Boom. Boom. Can you hear my voice? Are you okay?
Boom! Boom! And the door shakes again and more dust comes down.
If you keep doing that, Boom, you will kill yourself. That is
And then a
not good.
crack appears in the stone slab.
Oh, go through the crack. It won't hurt you.
And then there's a large crash and a boom as the stone slab falls to the ground and shatters. And Boom comes down.
He's
and he
okay.
shakes. And wagging his tail and he runs over to your side.
I back away and melt into stone.
Does he look the same as he's always looked?
Yeah, looks the same as he's always looked. He's just dustier now because he was covered in dirt and dust from inside this ancient crypt.
Good job, Boom. Good boy.
But you do hear other things starting to move from inside the crypts now.
I wonder if there are any more traps that could put one of us inside one of these crypts, like it did to Boom before.
Let's
Do you
destroy
think
the
there's
whole
more
walls.
traps?
Let's destroy the walls. I could investigate or have some knowledge about it.
You do another Arcana check. Do it with advantage because you got a pretty good roll on it last time.
A natural 20.
Got to do it again?
No, it was a 13 plus your modifier.
Right, a natural 20.
Oh, unnatural. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Yep, roll it again, see if you get better.
22.
22?
20.
Okay.
I'll choose the 22.
22, all right. So, this, you know it's a transportation spell, so when Boom went into that area, into the top of the stairs, he got transported into this crypt and got replaced by a white. So, your assumption is that there's probably a white or an undead creature in each of the columns that are down here, and when you go into that area, you would get replaced with one of the creatures that is in one of these columns. So you have to figure out some sort of way. You'd have to go back and investigate the area a little bit more to figure out what's the trigger. Is it just a pressure plate, or is it just a general area that this magic transport spell has been put? But some immediate concerns. There is more movement that is coming from this now open crypt in front of you. And you can see skeletons starting to stand themselves up
Oh no.
inside of this crypt and starting to move towards you.
I'm going to punch it.
Can I use Stone Shape to block it back up?
I think that you maybe can. Let's see here. You touch a stone object of medium size or smaller, or a section of stone no more than 5 feet in any dimension, and form it into any shape that suits your purpose. So, for example, you could shape a large rock into a weapon, idol, or coffer, or make a small passage through a wall as long as the wall is less than 5 feet thick. How tall is the slab? The slab is actually taller than 5
Guys,
feet.
I have the spell
Can
detect.
I just block up 5 feet?
Yeah, you can.
I have the spell detect magic where I can detect the magic if there's any more.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, why don't you hold on to that for the moment?
I'm still trying to plug the hole in the
Yep.
crypt. We don't want to fight a whole bunch more
All
skeletons.
right, so,
Well, hurry up
so
then.
you stone shape up 5 feet as far as you can, and that actually leaves like a 2-foot gap, like at
Okay.
the very top. And so then you could see skeleton hands coming up over it,
Oh.
but they can't quite seem to get a purchase or anything. So it looks like that they're contained for the time being, but they are starting to make noises, and you hear.
Okay. Do the check quick so we can get out of here.
Okay, detect magic is a level 1 spell. And I can do it up to 10 minutes.
Okay, so it'll follow you around as you're walking.
So I cast it.
Okay. So you can, all right, so you cast it, and your eyes see that there's magic that's radiating off of the stone from the spell that Dave had just cast. You can see the items on you and the rest of the group glow with magic because of their magical items. And you can tell that there's a different kind of glow. It's kind of a purplish magic that's coming off of the skeleton hands that you see right above the stone. You can tell that's a necrotic damage. That's that, or not necrotic damage. That's a necrotic magic. There's necrotic magic you can see coming off of the skeletons, which seems fairly obvious. Now, if you go back to the stair landing where Boom was transported initially, you could tell for certain that there is some transportation magic. There's a spell that was cast on this area. And it looks like it covers the entire area at the top of the stairs. There's no way to walk around it. Can you roll investigation, but do it with advantage?
I have a good idea on how to attack the skeletons. 17 is my highest. Not even
17?
attack.
Okay. So with the 17, you can tell that there is actually a pressure plate in the floor that as soon as someone steps on that particular area, that triggers the transportation spell. So if you can figure out a way to get over that area without touching the floor, you should be able to bypass
So
the transportation.
It blocks the whole passageway.
Correct.
Wait, I got it. What if Galaxy flies and puts all of us in her mini backpack? It's
Yep, that could work.
unicorn butt backpack.
I don't want to ride on a unicorn's butt.
If we fight the
Then The
skeleton,
last time I rode on a unicorn's butt, it took me forever to get the glitter out of my hair. So how far do we have to go to get over? Like how wide? or
It's
deep
10
is it?
10 feet.
10 feet. Okay. Could the polar bear carry us over? No.
so I feel like we should do the plan that I said because I'm smart.
Which is okay.
Everyone climb
Let's
into
get
the unicorn.
unicorn pack.
So it's 4 of us, including Boom and the polar bear.
Yeah, Little Joe.
Let's see.
Okay.
Dude, wait, we have to see. Did I pack my fly spell?
Did you prepare fly? You didn't prepare, did you?
No.
No?
Nope. Right here.
Okay. All right, so Galaxy doesn't
Person.
she forgot to study her fly spell last night. All right. So is there anything else that you could do?
Oh, I got it.
Can we dispel magic? Or I have remove curse, but I don't think it's a curse.
It's not a curse. There is a dispel magic, but you don't have it.
Okay. Does she have it?
What I can do is I can do like either grasping vine or entangle, so that can make like a bridge we can cross over.
Or we could swing over, yeah.
Oh, okay. Grasping Vine is a very powerful spell in that it's a vine that you create that actively reaches out and grabs creatures.
Or something like, say, if I grab the ceiling, then it would grab the ceiling, so we could swing.
Yeah, I'd allow that. Yeah, so that you could cast it on the ceiling, and it would reach down and grab us and move us into the area that you want us to move to.
Let's do that, but we have Here's
party
a good
of 5.
Since Mimi
Yeah,
has
and it can do
to cast the spell, right? She could wear my unicorn butt backpack.
No!
And I could go into it, and so can Dave, and so can Boom.
And Little Joe.
Yes, and you go through then you go to the other side.
So, well, see, that's grasping vine is it stays there for a while. That's one of the things that makes it so powerful, and it can grab like a really large creature. So it doesn't have a problem in grabbing hold of that polar bear and moving him over.
So let's just do Birdie's idea. Put them in my backpack because that'd just be the fastest.
Well, no. If you cast, because you got to cast grasping vine no matter what, right? So yeah, you just cast it, and it will reach down and bring everyone over the area, no problem. So so the vine shoots out, grabs hold of you first, and scoops you up and brings you up over the ground and lands you on top of the stairs, and then it shoots back over, whoosh, grabs another person, brings them over, whoosh, grabs another person, brings them over, whoosh, grabs the polar bear, brings them over.
Little Joe.
And grasps Little Joe, and eventually everyone gets over, and then the vine just sort of curls up on itself and stays there.
And disintegrates.
Well, it'll stay there until the spell wears off.
Well, no, it's up there for 1 minute.
Yeah. So it'll be up there for maybe 30 more seconds.
And I say, if anyone else is coming in the next 28 seconds, grab them and kill them.
The vine like uncurls and then like gives like a little salute with the one big vine that it has.
Okay, onward, right?
Onward! Excelsior!
All right. Excelsior!
I said Excelsior.
So you get to the bottom of the stairs, and you are in, and it's a dirt floor now, so it's no more stone. But it's still stone walls and a stone ceiling that still rises about 30 feet up above. And your eyes catch little movements across the ceiling here and there. And at first it looks like there's so much movement, it almost looks like that the ceiling itself is moving around, and that's when you realize that the ceiling is covered in bats. And on the dirt floor, it's like you can't see it because the mist is really thick down here, but it's covered in guano.
Halflings don't wear shoes.
I cast dancing lights so the bats are scared of the light and they go away.
No, don't disturb the bats. Don't disturb the
No,
bats.
Sam!
That would be bad.
Mimi, you could turn into a bat and be like, hey, could you guys move?
No, let's just move quietly. Try not to bother them.
But what about the stuff on the ground?
You can't see it.
You're wearing boots. I'm the barefoot one.
Go in her backpack.
What is it with you and wanting to put everyone in the backpack?
I want them to suffocate and die.
It only takes 10 minutes.
Can we move quietly past the bats? Have you ever seen a swarm of bats? It's very disturbing.
I grew up with a swarm of bats.
Yeah, but these might not be natural bats.
At the zoo, I fell in the cage of bats and I stayed there for a year.
You went to the zoo a lot. Or you spent a lot, or that one trip was a very long time at the zoo.
It was a weekly trip.
It was a weekly trip. Every Saturday.
I saw dinosaur there.
Unicorns and Pegasi.
Unicorn, just
A butt of a
I
unicorn.
even saw a beholder there.
In the
They were
middle
extinct.
of this large room that's where bats are covering the ceiling is a large black coffin.
Oh.
I forgot we were trying to get to a vampire to kill him. I started carving my shield into like a wooden stake.
Carving your shield into a wooden stake.
Did we come
Okay.
here looking for this guy?
Yes.
So we're not like just stumbling through here, seeing what we find.
Correct,
We're,
yeah.
we're on a mission.
Correct. Yeah. So I jumped just right in the middle of this adventure. So I fast forwarded a bunch of stuff. There was a big battle between the musketeers and the evil creatures of this castle.
Why?
And they had found this vampire and killed her, but she escaped in her misty form and got back into the castle and back down into her coffin.
Okay.
So
Why?
where her body would reform and regenerate. And so now the three of you came in here. You got separated from the
Do
other
we have any
musketeers.
special implements with us for the purposes of dispatching the vampire?
I-
Do you bring anything specific for this job?
Roll a religion check for me.
I'll give him advantage because I'm helping.
Okay, sure. You get advantage on it because you were being helped.
Okay, I'm gonna go 14.
14. All right.
His advantage was a natural one.
So
Yeah, thanks for that.
Welcome. You're welcome.
So with a 14, you know that a stake to the heart won't actually kill a vampire, but you know that it will like knock them unconscious. It will like subdue them. But the only true way to like kill a vampire completely is with running water or sunlight.
Don't I have like a sunlight one or something? I got light.
Does it have to be natural sunlight, or can it be spell sunlight?
Well, it couldn't be like an illusion of sunlight.
All right.
But if you have anything that does radiant damage, like your guiding bolts, I believe that's
Yeah.
radiant damage.
Wait.
If you-
Radiant damage? Does my helmet do that?
Sacred flame is radiant. Guiding bolt is radiant.
Oh, my opals are daylight.
So, Dave, you do know that you would have to reduce the vampire to 0 hit points and then expose it to the radiant damage would have to be the killing blow on it for it to be killed. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. If you were able to reduce it to 0 hit points while it's in its mist form,
Okay.
if you reduce it to 0 with radiant damage, or you hit it with radiant damage while it's in its mist form, that would permanently kill the vampire.
Okay. And before anything kicks off, since it looks like it might kick off here, I want to cast Guardian of Faith.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. I just happen to have a wooden stake in my back.
You sure do.
Inventory.
You're going in to kill a vampire. I'd say that you took the time to put a wooden stake in your backpack.
Yes!
All right. So does the Guardian Faith
She's writing it in two.
does Guardian Faith do they get an initiative, or does it just automatically happen as soon as someone comes into the
It
area?
says any creature hostile to you that moves to a space within 10 feet of the Guardian for the first time on a turn must succeed on a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
The creature takes 20
Wait.
radiant damage on a failed save,
20 radiant damage.
and half as much on a successful one.
Okay.
I just realized. So we all have a little like friend here. I have little Joe.
I don't think the Guardian moves, though.
Galaxy
does
has
not.
Boom, and then Dave has his dumb Guardian.
So I want to put it 10 feet away from the coffin.
Okay. And it does up to 60 points of damage. Is that right?
Yeah, before disappearing.
Okay. And it's a dexterity saving throw?
Can we figure out a way to open this coffin without actually having to go and stand over it?
I drink a little whiskey.
Mage hand.
I drink a
Does
little.
the lid weigh less than 10 pounds?
Probably.
Or, like, does it require less than 10 pounds to push it?
It definitely weighs more than 10 pounds.
Okay. What about the polar bear? Little Joe.
What?
Can he follow instructions to push the lid off?
Okay, so little Joe, salute. And then the little Joe stands on his hind legs.
Wait, no, okay, hold on. Let's see if he understands. He brings a paw up and sort of like rubs its eye a little bit and then puts it back down.
Okay, you need to go and open the coffin. Okay.
And he tilts his head at an angle looking at you, not understanding what a coffin is or opening is.
Coffin.
The bed.
Open is you open, close, open, close.
Just say the box.
The bear sits down on its rump and puts his paws together and does the same motion that you just did.
So this is
And then cocks his head the other way, looking at you inquisitively.
this is closed. Okay, so the coffin is the big thing over the black wood
The
box
box.
over there, and it's closed, right? Closed. You need to open it.
So the bear, Little Joe, gets up off of its back. He starts moving over towards the coffin, and he starts circling it slowly. And he hits it with his paw for a moment. And he gets a weird look in his face, like he doesn't like what he's feeling or what he's smelling.
Boom can
And
do it.
he sort of jumps back a little bit, and then he turns around and walks back to you.
No.
Is there anything else that you'd like to do to prepare for
Boom
this?
is
more smart.
But Boom does follow it does have the ability to follow instructions more implicitly. Yes.
This is me. Oh, good little Joe. Good little Joe. Okay, Boom. I want you to open the coffin over there. Okay? After that, I'll give you a piece of bacon. Then little... Oh, no, that just sounded wrong. That just sounded wrong.
You're going to give a piece of your pony?
No, and then little Joe walks over to Boom and starts doing the open and close sign that I taught him. He's like, open, close, open, close.
All right, well, okay, so the instructions that you can give to Boom, it's like talking to a person. You can tell him and he understands you of what you're saying. So you tell Boom to go open that coffin, right? Ruff, ruff. And he turns and he takes off running and lunges towards the top of the coffin with both his little paws out, and he tucks his head down and he bangs into the top of the coffin. And so let's just do a quick roll for this.
This is sad.
Can you roll 2d8 plus 4 for me? That's his slam attack.
2d8. So 2 of them.
Oop, sorry.
2.
Would you roll a 2 and a 4 and then another 4? So it's 10 total.
Oh, 10 total? Okay. Yeah. That's still enough. Okay. So with 10 total, Boom leaps forward and smashes off the top of this coffin, and it clatters to the ground. It reverberates throughout the caverns and the silence that's there.
He just walks over here like...
Yeah, and he trots right back to you and sits down at your feet.
Good.
Sits down at your feet.
Good boy. Here's a little piece of bacon. Not from my pony. From a pig. No, it's actually from Mr. Buckbuck.
He snaps out of your hand and gobbles it down.
Mr. Buckbuck. It's chicken.
It's chicken bacon.
All right. So the casket is open now.
The casket is open.
Is anything else happening?
Not that you can see.
All right.
No, you didn't slap. Ow, ow. You hurt.
I think Galaxy should go take a look inside. Go take a look inside, Galaxy.
Okay.
All right, Galaxy, go roll an investigation check for me.
Okay. I'm good at investigation. Bye, Galaxy. I'll see you in the other world. It's 16.
16?
Yeah.
So you slowly move towards this now open coffin. And you look inside, and it's empty. Do.
Is that where we're ending?
No, it's not where we're ending.
And I look behind me. Oh, it just Boom.
No, okay, so you look back at the rest of the group, and that's when you see a cloud of mist come down from behind the group, and it coalesces into a figure.
Look behind you!
And as soon as it coalesces, that's when Dave's guardian of faith shoots out a streak of yellow sunlight energy towards this creature. And she needs to do a dexterity saving throw. And she does not make it. However, vampires have a interesting effect of where they can, it's called legendary resistance, because some creatures at a sufficient level, if they fail a saving throw so many times a day, they could just be like, nope, I make it, no matter what. And they can only do that a certain amount of times a day, but that's one of the things that she can do.
I turn into a polar bear and I tell little Joe, attack!
All right, everybody, roll initiative.
Man, Boom is gonna go into that initiative. 15?
15.
And then that's for me, and then I'll roll for little Joe.
Wait, hold on. So 15 for Mimi, 15 for Dave.
15 for Galaxy. And
Okay.
18 for little Joe.
18 for Little Joe.
Wait, do I have advantage on initiative?
You do have advantage
Okay,
on
so-
initiative, yes.
And 11 for
Okay, so 16.
16, okay.
Boom. 11 for Boom.
11 for Boom. All right, so to Dravidon, she goes first. So she got hit by that light, the radiant energy from the Guardian of Faith, and she's gonna go after the cleric.
Did I just snore? snort.
You did just snort. And that is going to be a 25 to hit. All right, so then you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage as she comes forward and strikes you across the face. And now she is actually going to lunge forward and try and bite you. But that's with an 11, and so that would miss. So she strikes you across the face, and as your head is turned, exposing your neck a little bit, she lunges forward with her fangs, but you pull back just in time as her teeth snatch inches away from the veins in your neck.
I'm gonna tell Boom something quickly. If you see a vampire try to bite someone on the neck, go and try to get her. Okay?
All right, so now so now it is the polar bear, Little Joe's turn.
He go and lunges for the vampire.
Okay. Roll the attack for his claw.
So I have to get like something like higher than like 15 or something. So 10 for his claw misses.
Is that with the modifier? Okay. Yep, that misses.
Ooh, 17 without the modifier.
Okay, with the modifier, what is that?
24.
24. Okay, 24 will hit.
Definitely. And then I will get my D8. 11.
11.
Ooh.
All right.
Woo!
So the claw misses, but Little Joe, the polar bear, lunges out with his bites as the vampire is trying to bite Dave. And the polar bear grabs hold, bites onto her leg, and then pulls away. But it doesn't look like it does as much damage as you would expect a polar bear bite to do on a person.
Well, she's not a person. She's a vampire.
She is a vampire. So the one thing that you do know about vampires is that non-magical attacks. So this polar bear's attacks are not considered magical, and so they do half damage.
Oh! Are you freaking serious?
Vampires are very difficult. They're very difficult. So,
Curse you!
all right, and so now the vampire is going to turn and is going to strike Little Joe. And she misses. She rolled a natural 1 when she went to try and strike Joe.
No, you can have her get 1 point of damage lost because of that.
So another thing about vampires is that they have legendary actions. So they get extra actions on top of their normal attacks.
What?
They're very tough.
I wish I was a vampire.
Dave, it is your turn now.
What?
It says spiritual weapon is a bonus action. So does that mean I can do something else?
So you can cast, it's a bonus action to cast a spiritual weapon, and then you can use your action to attack with it.
Oh, I see.
But then the next round, you can use your bonus action again to attack with it, and then also attack with your mace, which then you could do the divine divine strike on top of that.
All right, so spiritual weapon. Do I have to roll to hit?
All right, so you cast it. Yes, you do have to.
It'll show up first. But
Yep.
Then okay.
Yep, it shows up, and then you cast. Then you do a spell attack on the vampire with it.
Okay. I'm lucky, so I get to re-roll my natural 1.
Yes, you do.
So that's a 12, and I don't know what to add to that.
Your spell attack modifier.
7, so 19.
19. 19 does hit.
Okay, so 2d8 then. 4, 5, 9.
9 damage. Okay. All right. So a magical version of your mace appears in the air and then flies towards this vampire, from behind, we'll say, because it is attacking you, and smacks it in the back of the head. You hear from Galaxy across the way. So now, Galaxy, it's your turn.
Okay.
I love that you don't take it too seriously.
Does she like fire?
She does not like fire.
Okay, then burning hands is right up her alley.
Okay, burning hands. She misses her dexterity saving throw, but because she has legendary resistance, she's just going to make it for the second time.
And you hear a
So, but she's still going to take damage from this, so you need to roll 3d6.
3.
And she's going to take half damage on that.
Ooh. I got
17, so half of that.
So she's going to take 8 points of damage.
no 17.
Round down.
7.5.
I round down.
No 7.5. Listen.
So Galaxy comes charging back towards the group. She gets within 15 feet because it's a shorter range from Burning Hand. She holds both her hands out, fanned out in front of her, and there's this flamethrower, this just jet of fire that shoots out between her hands. But she sculpts it around everybody else because she's a mage. She can do that. And it hits the vampire, but it doesn't do as much damage to the vampire as you would hope. And so that's when the vampire runs towards you, Galaxy, and she rolls another one to strike at you. Wow, this vampire is not... You really threw her off base coming into this.
Do you remember I told Boom to say if she ever tries to bite someone, to bite her?
Right. So now it is... Mimi, it's your turn.
No, what about Boom?
Boom is coming up.
So if I take like a fireball off my helmet, would that go around the team? Because
No, your fireballs will hit everyone in the
You'll
area.
catch
What about
Dave
flaming
and Little
spear?
Joe and...
Sorry, what?
What about flaming spear?
Flaming sphere, that's the one where you create the hovering ball and you can slam it into people. So you
I'll
have
do-
much more control over
I'll
that.
do flaming spear.
Okay. So it's a bonus action to cast that, which you do. And so this 5-foot in diameter flaming sphere appears in the area. And now you can use your action to slam it into her if you wanted to. But what level did you cast flaming sphere at?
What's the highest I can do?
Level 4.
Then I'll do level 4.
Okay.
So I go in at her.
Okay. So you slam this 5-foot diameter flaming sphere into the vampire. Can you roll 3d6 for me?
Yes, queen. 17 points.
17 points. That's pretty good. This time she does make her dexterity saving throw, so it's going to be halved again.
8.5 points of damage.
All right. So that was Mimi. So now it is Boom's turn.
Yeah!
So you're going to send Boom in to attack this vampire.
He is going to. What can he do?
So Boom gets 2 slam attacks. So Boom charges forward and would slam into the vampire. And Boom's attacks do count as magical attacks, I believe.
Yeah! Just ready.
Yes, the golems. Yep, its slam attacks are considered magical. So Boom would do full damage as it charges into this vampire. Okay, can you do? Okay, roll a d20 for the attack and add 7 to it.
15.
15. Okay, so Boom goes charging at this vampire, and the vampire sidesteps out of the way as Boom leaps from the ground, puts his head down to slam into her, and he just goes sailing through the air right past her. He lands on the ground, and he turns around and charges at her again. So do another attack.
He's on attack mode.
He is on attack mode. Yes.
26.
26. That one will hit. So now roll 2d8 plus 4.
7.
11.
You got to roll it again.
Oh.
14 plus 4 is 18.
18 points. Wow, that's a good hit.
Go Boom.
All right,
Go
so
Go
Boom hits the ground, growls, pivots real quick, and then slams back with his head down again into the back of the vampire.
What about Little Joe?
She goes flying forward. We'll get to him, and looks back at Boom with murder in her eyes.
And Boom looks
Now
with
she does
murder
get
in her eyes.
she does get one more attack, and so she's going to swipe at Boom.
If you bite him, he'll not turn into a vampire.
And she does actually hit Boom, but Boom has a lot of hit points.
Oh, how many?
Boom has 93 hit points.
How did you make this thing?
Lightning and boom! Wait. I thought you said he had 0 hit points.
Nope.
Yeah, a lot of magical
So Boom
stuff.
takes 11 points of bludgeoning damage from this fist that slams into him.
Still
from
got a
the
lot.
vampire. So now we are on round 2. And it is Draviden's turn again. And she looks at you, Galaxy. And you can see red magic spark in her eyes.
Don't you think about it, girl.
I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, no. I'm terrible at wisdom.
No.
Natural 1 + 4 = 5. I get advantage though
Oh, you get. Wait, why do you get advantage?
for helping her.
No, you can't help her.
help her.
You can't help her in this
Yeah.
regard.
That was a 1. That
It was
was
a 1.
natural
You fail.
1.
You fail. You can't. Yeah.
Nope.
Natural 20.
No, the 1 was first.
No, but I gave her advantage.
You can't give her advantage on
I
this.
just did.
You can't.
I just did.
Well, you didn't.
Well, I kind of did.
Because I'm the dungeon master, and it doesn't work like that.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's exactly
All
how
right,
it works.
Galaxy. So you see this magic spring from Draviden's eyes, and that's when suddenly you realize there's been a big misunderstanding. Draviden, she's a very good friend of yours, and you shouldn't be attacking her at all now.
She's a good friend of me.
Yeah, and so
That's why I said I wanted to be her friend.
yeah, and so you have no idea why you completely forgot about this, but she is your friend, and so you are going to stop attacking her now, and in fact, you're going to do everything you can to protect her at this point.
Can I hug her? No, wait. Dad, is she putting a spell on her?
She did put a spell on her, yes. Galaxy is now charmed by Draviden, and she says, Galaxy, my friend, please protect me. And that is her turn.
But you shouldn't have told me.
So now, Guardian of Faith, is it only when they enter the area, or is it every round that they are in the area?
Well, it's a little confusing. It says any creature hostile to you that moves to a space within 10 feet of the Guardian for the first time on a turn must succeed on a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
The creature takes 20 radiant damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful.
Okay. I'm going to say because she's still in it, she's going to... And she gets another 1 on her dexterity saving throw. But this is going to be her last time for her legendary resistances, so she used all of those up, but she still takes 10 more points of radiant damage.
How close is she to death?
She's still looking pretty healthy. So Galaxy, you see that your friend, Draviden, just got hit by another bolt of radiant damage from Dave's Guardian of Faith.
How dare you hurt my friend?
I think you need to take a nap.
Galaxy, you're under a spell.
Polar Bear, Little Joe, it's your turn.
She charges at him and...
Little Joe's a girl.
No!
No, she can be a girl.
No!
Okay.
Mr. Buckbag is a girl, but he thinks he's a boy!
I know, okay. No problem. Okay, so Little Joe. So what is Little Joe going to do?
He is going to charge at her.
Okay, roll the claw attack.
Who's her? No one.
Draviden. Your
No,
favorite person in the whole world right now.
13.
13
for my
misses.
claw,
All right, roll the bite attack.
and then another 13.
All right, so Draviden easily dodges out of the way. She's very fast. She's a vampire, and she's very, very spry. And she gets out of the way of these big, huge claw and bite attacks from the polar bear. David, it's your turn now.
Oh dear. Yeah, I don't have any kind of crowd control that could help with this one, so I'm just going to go full on offense.
Okay.
So I've still got my spiritual weapon out.
You sure do. So you can attack with a bonus attack on that one.
Yep.
So why don't you roll the attack there?
That's a 19.
That'll hit.
7,
Yay!
and 6, so 13.
13. Okay, that's a pretty good hit. All right, so your spiritual weapon slams into the back of her head again.
And then.
So you still have a full action because that's
do, yeah.
just the bonus action to attack with that.
Did you guys
I'm
skip
gonna
me?
just guiding bolt, I guess.
Okay.
Did you guys skip me?
Nope.
Nope, just haven't got to you yet. Oh Lord. Wait. Yeah, no, it's a 4, so I missed. Not having the best of luck.
Okay, so yeah, your guiding bolt, the energy, the raw sunlight energy shoots over her head, like it did before.
Whiff.
Swing and a miss.
Womp womp.
All right, so that was Dave's turn. Galaxy. So Galaxy, you see that you're also, well, your okay friend Dave. Or is that just Mimi that's got problems with Dave?
Pretty much just moving.
Okay, well then your other good friend, Dave, you see just tried to attack Dravidon. And Mimi is sending her polar bear after Dravidon. You need to protect her, but you don't want to hurt your friends either. So what would you do to try and protect her from your other friends that are attacking her?
Ice cream cake.
Okay, so you use your bonus action to bring out your magical shield. So your armor class now goes up by 2. That's a bonus action to do that.
I'm protecting her.
Oh, so you're gonna put the shield in front of Dravidon.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Dravidon will now have an armor class of 18 instead of 16 before, so she will be harder to hit.
Galaxy, what are you doing?
You still have a full action left, though.
I'm trying to protect my friend.
She's trying to kill us.
She's charmed you, and that triggers her mind, and then she starts attacking her, and then we win. Yes.
So you still got your full action. Do you want to do anything else?
I just want to know.
Yeah, take a nap. That sounds good.
Well, so everyone else, no, you wouldn't do that because everyone else in the room is still actively trying to attack her. So you should be doing everything that you can to protect Dravidon.
I don't want to hurt my friends, though.
Right. So do you have any spells that could maybe like stop them, maybe incapacitate them, but doesn't do any harm to them?
Fireball, Phantom Seed, Light. Oh, I'll do Light. No, Mage Hand, and I'll just tap and be like, boo.
Okay, so you use that works. So what this means then is that you would actually be trying to distract and interfere with them. So who would you be doing this to? Who would you be sending Mage Hand in front of?
Dave.
Okay. So Dave, you now have
Man, my accuracy is already terrible.
all right, so Dave, you are now going to get Mage Hand distracting.
Just getting my face slapped.
It's just like poking you. It doesn't do any damage, but you are going to take disadvantage on your physical any kind of physical attacks that well, actually any attacks you're going to take disadvantage on.
All right.
So
Galaxy.
Mimi, it's your turn.
Stop. I'm going to send my fireball.
Okay.
And it's flaming sphere, and it's gonna go behind them and then charge at the vampire girl.
All right. So the vampire, Dravidon, missed her dexterity saving throw, and so she takes the full damage. So that'll be roll 3d6.
That will be 6.
6 total. Okay.
Would grasping vine be good?
Grasping vine
So
would
like
be.
we could hold the vampire down.
I don't think it'd be very effective if you did that.
Well, I don't really have much.
Then I would say you just turn into a bear, and then you could attack next time. Because then next time you would get your flaming sphere attack, then you would get 2 attacks as a polar bear, and as a polar bear, your attacks do count as magical attacks.
Fine.
All right.
I'll turn into a cute, cuddly polar bear.
A cute, cuddly polar bear.
That will try and hurt you.
Cute, cuddly, vicious attack polar bear.
All right, so now it is Boom's turn. So Galaxy, Boom looks to you like a little confused now. Like, what do you want me to do?
I'm not paying attention to Boom.
Okay, so Boom doesn't do anything because she's not getting direction from
It's
Galaxy.
he.
He's not doing anything because he's not getting any direction from Galaxy to attack Dravidon. All right, so we are back up to the top of the order. So now the beginning of round 3, and Dravidon is going to attack Dave.
Yes!
Dave, that is going to be a 26 on you, so that is definitely a hit. Dave, you take 9 points of bludgeoning damage. Now she is going to bite you as well, and that is going to be a 21 to hit on the bite.
Okay.
So you take 6 points of piercing damage from the bite itself, and now you are going to take, as she starts draining the life force from your neck, you take 11 points of necrotic damage, and that also reduces your maximum HP by another 11, so you can't heal those back. And again, just temporarily,
Right.
but until you finish a long rest. But you can't heal those back, so make sure you keep track of that with the other.
I got it.
The Guardian Faith is going to strike out again at the vampire, and she makes her dexterity saving throw, so she takes 10 points of radiant damage. That is really whittling her down. And is radiant damage, so she's not able to regenerate any points each round because of that. Unless she's sucking your blood, then she gets the hit points back for that.
Oh,
It's
no.
so good, but
Okay.
All right, Polar Bear, Little Joe's turn.
So,
Stop.
hold on.
Sure.
Boomer was instructed to attack anyone who tried to bite somebody.
Boom was instructed to what?
Boom was instructed to attack if someone tried to bite one of us.
from me.
Yeah, before she was charmed.
Okay.
Does that work?
Boom would try and carry out the instructions unless she's given other instructions.
Okay.
But you would definitely give her other instructions if it looked like that she was going to attack Dravidan. So I would say that Boom is just sitting the fight out now at this
Okay.
point.
All right.
All right, Polar Bear, Little Joe. Little Joe. Okay, roll a claw attack. He has not been very successful with this claw attack.
Ooh, 21.
21 will hit.
We're
Even
out
against
of
Dravidan's
time.
improved armor class with that magical shield now floating in front of her,
And 12.
which gets reduced to 6
Why?
because they're not magical attacks. Roll your bite attack for Little Joe.
11.
11 hits. Okay, the bite attack misses from Little Joe. Dave, your turn.
Okay, so spiritual weapon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick. So, legendary actions from the vampire. The vampire is going to bite the polar bear that just attacked her. And how many hit points does the polar bear have, Mimi?
42.
42. Okay. So then he loses 3 for the bite, and then he's going to also lose another 9 for the necrotic energy drain, and that means the vampire also gets those 9 points back. All right. So Little Joe slashes out, hits the vampire, tries to bite her. She pulls back, and then in turn bites the polar bear and sucks the blood out of the polar bear.
He's a vampire. Little Joe's dead.
Little Joe is not dead. No,
It just hurts.
it just hurts, and she got a little bit more life back because she sucked some blood out
Little
of this.
Joe.
All right, Dave. Sorry. Now it's your turn.
All right, spiritual weapon.
Okay.
17 plus,
That'll be hit because
All right.
her armor class is 18 now. So 2d8.
and then 2d8. 10.
10. Okay. So the spiritual weapon hits her in the back of the head again. But just wanted to remind you, you've got a mage hand that's in your face at the moment, and you didn't take disadvantage on this because it's
already there.
It's already there. It's floating away from you. So, but it's only if you're going to be doing a direct attack or cast another spell at it, that's where you'll take disadvantage on the attack.
Is there any way, like, can we tell how she's looking?
She's still looking okay. She's not terribly hurting, but she did just drain you and the polar bear and got a bunch of hit points back for that.
Wait, is Dave a vampire now?
No.
Dave is not a vampire.
The process is you can't do it in the middle of combat.
Why are you sad about that, Brady?
You want to try Guiding Bolt again?
Yeah,
That's your most powerful offensive
I
spell.
know,
Oh, but it
but
is disadvantage that you would have.
it's like I have an innate disadvantage with that one anyway. So I'll try.
Okay.
Lord. Got 17. 4.
Okay. So you shoot out another Guiding Bolt, and it goes right over her head again. Okay. Galaxy, it's your turn. Are you going to just continue trying to distract Dave with Mage Hand?
No, I'm gonna go. Was Jed with us?
Jed is not with us, no.
Aw. I'm
Galaxy,
gonna
did you-
distract Mimi. Why?
Did you see her bite me? She bit me.
Oh, I bet it was for a reasonable reason.
Stop slapping me.
Whatever.
So, you're just going to keep distracting him with your Mage Hand. Okay. So then Dravidan comes out and goes to strike the polar bear that's all up in her business right now, and hits the polar bear for another 10 points of bludgeoning damage. So the polar bear has been knocked down over half of its hit points already. So Mimi, it is your turn now.
Thank you.
You are a polar bear now. And so you have your flaming sphere. Do you want to do your flaming sphere first? Do the attack, because that's a bonus action.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, that's right. She's got to do a dexterity saving throw. What's your spell save DC?
Plus 15.
15? Let's see here. Did she make it? She did make it. So roll your 3d6 fire, and she's going to take half that damage. 11. All right, so she takes 5 points of damage from that. So now you go charging in as a polar bear. Roll your claw attack for me.
So, a 16.
A 16, that misses.
6.
Because she has Galaxy's magical shield floating in front of her now, which increased her AC.
Okay.
So do your bite attack now. You got to get an 18 or higher. You are adding in your modifiers, right? Okay.
So I think I'm pretty sure I got this. I got 23.
Okay, that hits. All right, your bite attack hits. So you go in with a slash, frustrated that it misses, and then it just roar and just ripped into her. So roll the damage for that.
I got 13.
13 points of damage.
14.
All right, that bite looked like it hurt her pretty darn good. She is starting to look a little wary now. So now that was Mimi's turn, and so now it's Boom. Boom just sits down, just looking at everything that's going on right now. But apparently that was enough noise and enough spells and fire to be cast around that 8 swarms of bats come down from the ceiling and starts attacking everybody.
Even me?
Not well.
Would that be enough to break the charm?
It does give her. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. It attacks everybody. So let's see here.
Even their master?
No, not the master.
That's stupid. Did my charm wear off?
So everyone's going to get 2 things of bats attacking them. And Dave, you get hit pretty darn good by one of them. You take 12 points of piercing damage as all of these bats just swarm around you. Now, Galaxy, you get hit pretty good too. Galaxy, you take 9 points of piercing damage.
Does that lift her, like...
She's going to get to roll another wisdom saving throw after this damage to see if she can break out of the charm.
16.
16? Just missed it. You needed a 17 to break the charm.
Can I help?
No, you can't help on
I
that,
call
unfortunately.
advantage. I call advantage. Ho, ho.
All right, Mimi, you take 3 points of piercing damage, but you are a polar bear.
But my helmet, does that take away...
No. So you take 3 points of piercing damage, and because you are concentrating on the conjure animal spell, I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution?
Yep. This is to see if you maintain concentration on the spell, because that's a concentration spell that you...
16.
16? Okay. So you you stay concentrated, and so the second polar bear still stays there. Now, but the second polar bear does not take any damage from the bats. The bats stay away from them. Boom is going to take... Well, actually, no, they're not magical attacks. So Boom is unaffected by the bats. That's right. I forgot. You need to do... It's... Yeah. Is he immune, or does it just do half damage?
I hope it's immune.
Yeah, he is immune to damage from weapons that are not magical attacks.
Dang.
Okay. So now it is Dravidin's turn, and she's going to go after... We'll say she'll go after Mimi.
No!
That will be a 25, which hits you with her claw attack, and you take... Oh, wrong dice. This is the claw. You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Wait, am I immune to bludgeoning because of my helmet?
No.
Why do you keep saying no to everything?
Okay. And now she's going to bite you, and she rolls another 1. Wow.
Hallelujah.
All right, Guardian of Faith. She makes her saving throw again, but Guardian of Faith is still going strong because it's only dealing out so many points of damage.
Is that 40 so far?
That has been 40 so
Okay.
far, so she still has 20 left.
Yeah.
So now, Little Joe.
He charges and
goes for the claw.
Yep, roll the claw attack.
8.
That misses.
9, but
Bite attack.
unnatural 20.
Okay, that one hits. Roll the damage for a bite.
Woo! And then and that is a 13.
13 points of damage. Okay, so that gets rounded down to 6.
No!
And then
it's
she's going-
6.5.
And then she does a reaction to hit Little Joe again for 10 points of bludgeoning damage. Little Joe is not looking great, but she is not looking very great either. Dave, it is your turn.
Are the bats? Are they? Like, is she controlling them, or are they just behaving naturally like bats would?
You've never seen bats behave this way before. They are vicious and actively attacking, and they are not attacking her.
Okay. And my second question is: the Rod of Dragon Fear a bonus action, or is that an action?
The Rod of Dragon Fear no longer has its magic. That had gotten worn out.
Depleted.
Yes, it got depleted.
How?
It got used too many times.
When?
I thought you could use it once per day.
I revised that because it was a little too powerful of a magical artifact to have for the group.
And I don't have a spell card for Channel Divinity. I don't know what that's about. I'm trying to.
That's a clerical skill.
Okay.
So Channel Divinity, that is where you can use it for a couple of different things. Is that you can use it to turn undead, or you can use it to do some healing within the group.
Okay. But in terms of, like, I mean, is it an area healing? Is it targeted? What is it?
All right, so Channel Divinity Preserve Life. As an action, you present your holy symbol and evoke healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. Choose any creatures within 30 feet of you and divide those hit points amongst them. This feature can restore a creature to no more than half of its hit point maximum. You can't use this feature on an undead or on a construct.
Okay. Well, Dave's the only one that's really bad enough off to need that. I'll do the bonus action for the spiritual weapon, and then I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay.
13 plus 7 is 20.
That will hit.
Okay, and that was 2d8.
2d8.
Oh, 1.
So 2 points of
2
damage.
points of damage.
One.
To cast on myself, do I still have disadvantage for that?
No, you would not have disadvantage for that.
Do I have to roll it to hit, or just
No, you just roll
right.
the hit points that you get back
So-
for.
5 and 5? So that's 12 plus that was 19.
Okay. That's a good chunk of hit points to get back.
Yay. All right, Dave was on fumes.
All right. Dravidon is not looking real hot right now. But she does get her legendary action. So Dave, she's gonna go and attack you again.
Sorry.
And she does hit you with her claw attack. Oh, and she does maximum damage. She does 12 points of bludgeoning damage. And she goes to bite you again.
Boom. Boom reacts.
And that is 17.
No, Dave's out.
What?
No, 17 to hit. What's your armor
Oh,
class?
17.
Oh, so she does hit.
Wait, are you dead?
Well, I thought 17 was damage. But
Okay,
we'll see here.
so this is her bite attack. Okay, so here's the thing about a vampire attack. If you get reduced to 0 hit points from the bite attack, that's it. You're dead. You don't get any death saving throws.
You're about to kill Dave.
We could kill Dave here, girls.
You better not. If you do, I will
Okay,
scream.
you take from the bite itself, you take 10 points of piercing damage,
Is he going to turn into a vampire now?
and now you have to take 3d6 of necrotic damage.
Is he dying?
That is 11 points of necrotic damage.
Dave is at -8.
-8.
He's dead?
Dave is dead.
Dave is dead. Dead.
So Dravidon picks up
The show's
Dave.
over.
picks up Dave and drinks the life force from his body and drops him down onto the ground.
His last words are, "This is your fault, Galaxy."
Galaxy, it's your turn.
Why
So you still
did
consider
you plan a vampire?
you still consider Dravidin to be a trusted your trusted friend and ally.
Why'd you kill him?
You would just assume that she's got a very good reason for killing Dave.
Can I do a saving throw?
No,
A wisdom saving throw.
no.
Am I?
So you know that there's two polar bears in the room that are trying to attack Dravidin. So you could move your mage hand over to one of them to try and distract them from attacking.
No.
It's still gonna keep slapping Dave's corpse.
So so I'm gonna say that you do that. You move your hand over to Little Joe to distract him so that he's got disadvantage on his attacks. So Mimi, it is your turn now.
I'll use my flaming sphere.
Flaming sphere, okay. And what's your spell save DC?
15.
15. Okay, she makes it, so she's gonna take half damage. Roll 3d6 fire.
13
13, so she takes 6.
and a half.
6.5. Okay. Now roll your claw attack.
I got a 21.
21 will hit.
So then I roll 7 points.
7 points. She takes all of that. Okay. Now roll your bite attack.
That is a 26.
That hits as well.
Then that is a 10.
10. Oh, she is so close to dropping at this point. And she's going to strike out at you, Mimi. And you're going to take 10 points of bludgeoning damage in your bear form.
Yeah.
So it's Boom's turn. Boom doesn't do anything. But the bats are going to attack everybody. Galaxy, you take 5 points of piercing damage.
Even Dave?
Well, no, not Dave. So
Dave's not here, man. Roll your saving throw to see if
Yeah.
your charm is broken.
Oh.
yeah, roll wisdom saving throw.
Natural 20.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Okay, so finally, so this shock of seeing Dave drop dead, being drained of life by this vampire, and then all of these bats coming and nipping and biting at you. Suddenly the fog clears from your brain and you can see clearly again that Dravidin, she is no friend of yours.
I
and
never
you've
even
been
knew her.
super confused on why you were helping her in the first place. All right, so Mimi, in your bear form, you take 4 more points of piercing damage. Boom takes no damage. The other polar bear takes 5 more points of piercing damage. So Little Joe is now... Okay, so Dravidin is not looking great at all right now. Dave's Guardian of Faith disappears because he is no longer there to conjure and focus the energy from this thing.
It's not channeled.
Yeah, but if the caster is no longer alive,
Oh, okay.
I believe that it should go away. The Guardian vanishes when it is dealt a total of 60 damage. Yeah, I'm gonna say it goes away if the caster has died. All right, so Dravidin comes forward and strikes out at Little Joe, and Little Joe is no more.
He can come back alive, though.
So Little Joe, she slashes out with her hand and catches Joe across the face, and he falls to the ground, and then poof,
Did you say Little Joe, she clashes out?
the vampire, Dravidin, she slashes out with her hand,
I can just summon him again.
hits Little Joe across the face, and he drops to the ground and then disappears because he ran out of hit points.
I can just summon him again.
You could. Dave is no longer with us. Galaxy, it is your turn, and you no longer are under the charm effects of this vampire.
You might be a little angry about being
I'm
charmed.
gonna be like, I'll do anything you say, and then I'm gonna do burning hands.
You're gonna do burning hands. Okay.
But like, I'm gonna like trick her because she doesn't know that it wore off. Okay, at least.
All right. Roll your damage for burning hands. Wait, why did you pick
that
those?
That was 12. Roll one more. There, 14.
14.
Sorry, 13.
13. Okay. So
12 plus 2 is 14.
14?
14, yeah.
Okay. So and she makes her dexterity saving throw, so that gets cut in half. However, that is enough to bring her down to 0 hit points. So you bring your hands together again, shoot out that gout of flame between them, and it burns her, and then she turns into a cloud of mist that slowly starts to move back towards the coffin.
So I'm going to do my fire. Wait. No, my opals. It's daylight, and it also does radiant damage.
Okay. All right, so you would use your bonus action to turn back into an elf, pull an opal off of your helmet, and throw it at him. So what is what's
At him.
what spell is that? Or at her?
It's from my helmet.
Right. All right, so your helm of brilliance.
Is there any way we can talk to Mishakal and bring Dave back alive?
Oh, so it is daylight spell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so mark that opal off. Daylight suddenly fills the room, and you hear this far away, like, shriek and gasp, just, and then gradually nothing. And this cloud that this cloud form and vapor that Dravidin had turned into evaporates and disappears. The bats stop attacking you and fly either back up to perch onto the ceiling, or they fly out of the room. And the mist that's been covering the ground suddenly starts to clear up. And you can see the dirt and the floor below you.
I start talking above. Mishakal, can you bring Dave from the dead?
And the silence that you hear back is terrible. Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters is a proud member of the Block Party Podcast Network. Check out our other shows such as Detentions and Dragons, Dungeon Master Block, Geek Wars, and more. And nope, that's where we're gonna end today.
No.
That's where we're gonna end it. That's where we're gonna call
Why
it.
do you make us cry?